Hello, Stu. How are you?
Good, Glenn. How about yourself?
Really good. Really good.
Big trip. This was. I saw some of the pictures that were posted.
Yeah, I haven't had it yet. It is. I saw stuff in North Carolina I've never seen before. I saw houses that had been washed down the river and were upside down on the train tracks. I saw train tracks where, those things are built pretty strong. They build a real strong foundation. The foundation completely eroded away from underneath the train tracks, and the train tracks just kind of suspended over nothing. Everything in this place is going to have to be redone. Everything. I just saw things I didn't expect to see. The power of the water coming down these creeks, then rivers, and literally like the power of the Mississippi. I saw a house. I think we have a picture of this. I saw a house with a bunch of mobile homes all stacked up next to this house that seemed to be somewhat still on its foundation. Okay. And all these mobile homes stacked. And then right behind that house was another house that was right on the back of that house. And I said, wow, look at that. All those kind of washed up next to the house. And he said, no, those are actually from about 5 blocks down the street. And that house stayed kind of on its foundation enough to where all these mobile homes just were slamming against it and stopped because the house was in the way. He said, but what's really interesting is the house right behind it. I said, yeah. And he said, that house, we don't know where that house came from. We think that was 2 towns upriver.
2 towns?
2 towns upriver. The water was above. What? Oh, it's crazy, Stu. It is nuts. I saw a house upside down. I saw semi trucks that were like just tossed by the water upside down, had rolled, were in the street, had been rolled by the river several times. Semi trucks rolled by the river and 100 feet away, maybe 200 feet away from the road, upside down. This was crazy. Bridges just completely washed out. And the water in some places was like 6 feet above the bridge. I don't know how long it's going to take it will take years to put these towns back together. And, I've never been to the Smoky Mountains before. I went, it was really strange because the only time I've been in Asheville is when I went to go visit Billy Graham like 11 years ago. And it's just this beautiful town, just a beautiful town. And he lives right outside of town up on one of these mountains. And I remember thinking how beautiful it was when I was there. But I didn't really, I wasn't thinking about the mountains or anything else. And except going up to his house, I wasn't in the mountains, and especially because we were doing life flight yesterday. I was on the helicopter a lot, and I was above these mountains. 2 things come to mind. First of all, in my family, because I'm from the West Coast, and we have the Cascades and the Rocky Mountains, I've always joked with my family, oh, the Smoky Mountain bumps. Oh, that's really, it's not like a mountain range to me, jokingly. But it actually is, because this is the first time I was there. It is stunning. I would live in this area, not just for the beauty, but the people are amazing. I witnessed yesterday 9/12. I've talked about 9/12 forever, that's the people we need to be. When nobody cared about who you voted for, nobody cared what party you were, nobody cared about anything. You would just stop people in the street and go, are you okay? You didn't know them, but you could look at them and you could see the suffering in their eyes because you were suffering as well. And you would just stop it. Are you okay, brother? You okay? Can I do anything for you? That was one of the most amazing days I've ever lived. That's what this is in North Carolina. And I'll bet you it's the same in Tennessee and Georgia. They know nobody's coming. No, they know nobody is coming. The mountain range in Asheville, we had to fly over the mountain range. We had airlifted she must have been 80-year-old, 85-year-old woman. She had broken her hip and her knee, and she didn't have any insurance, and she was up north. This is like a month ago. And she was up north, and she came down to be with her family in North Carolina and was supposed to go back up, but they had her on antibiotics as they did the surgery, but because she didn't have insurance, they just pushed her out as fast as they possibly could, and they didn't give her any antibiotics. Well, now she was riddled with she needed antibiotics. Her leg was absolutely on fire. It was really infected, and she was in trouble. And we flew her. It was 23 minutes from her place to the airport or to the hospital. And I'm flying with the pilot. And I said, "How far do you think? How long would it take if you had to drive this?" He said, from there, which was not just over a couple of mountain peaks, he was like, maybe 2 hours. He said, and now maybe 5, because how do you get out of here? Because all of the bridges and some of just landslides coming down. It's incredible. And then kind of like a tornado. I've seen ground zero in Oklahoma of a tornado. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like the damage that I saw here. Because it didn't grind everything to a pulp like a tornado does. It just moved everything. And I just don't know how. I mean, it's going to take years to restore this. But because of the location of it, it's almost impossible. You have to have helicopters to help people. And the government is doing everything they can to shut down. I mean, yesterday I was calling it the Cajun Air Force, or not Cajun Air Force, the Hillbilly Air Force. You know, they've had the Cajun Navy. This is the Hillbilly Air Force. The guy at the Asheville Harley Davidson place, I met him yesterday. That place was wiped out, and but it still was standing. The bikes are all, he just lost everything. But they shoveled the mud out of that place, and he said, "I've got a field here. You can use that as a landing place." There were helicopters coming in and going out, and the government tried to shut them down and said, this is nobody from the FAA is involved here. You're going to have to shut this down. And Adam Smith, who's retired Special Forces, who was running it, he was like, "Really? Yeah, you know what you're going to do? You're going to leave because I have another helicopter landing and one taking off in a few minutes." They were just pissed. You're not here. If you had all of the assets here, if you had called one of the, many forts, bases, and special forces that are sitting on bases in North Carolina, maybe we would shut this down, but you're not sending anything to help people, so get off our land. That was a common theme yesterday. When we picked up this guy, it was, I just don't think of me as, somebody. I think of me as me, not Glenn Beck, the radio guy. And we show up with the helicopter. We land in this field, and we go to pick up this lady. We're, right at the front stairs, and the son of this or grandson, I think, of this woman, he turned to me and he's like, "You look familiar." And I said, "Hi, I'm Glenn." And he said, "Oh, hi, Glenn." And then he looked at me again. "Glenn Beck?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, that's unexpected. And he's like, you got to see my cousins, Tom, Jethro, whoever, come up here. No, don't walk. You run up here. And then he said, don't look directly at them. They're bad runners. And the whole family, the whole neighborhood didn't call 911. The son called somebody in the military that he knew that was retired and said, hey, do you know anybody with a helicopter? Because while they have two helipads at the airport in the city over the mountains, they don't have the helicopters. They're out of commission. So nobody can be flown in. So we're doing the life flight. And it's incredible. What this audience has done is incredible. But he didn't call. And then he called a friend and he said, you know what? I think I know. And he called another friend who was formerly in the military. And then he called another friend who was in the military. And he's like, yeah, they have helicopters right here. Mercury One's flying these helicopters right now. I know Adam Smith who's running this. And so they didn't call 911. It's not that community. And as we were leaving, I said to one of the cousins, I said, hey, you tell everybody you know that you haven't been forgotten, that there are millions of Americans that care about you, love you guys, and want to help and are helping. And he said, that's very kind of you. Now, will you tell everybody you know something for me? And I said, sure. And I expected, like, thank you or something. And he looked at me and he said, you tell everybody you know that even if they don't care, we'll take care of our own damn self if nobody shows up. And I was like, I gave him a hug. I'm like, I love you. It is America. And all I could think of yesterday was, this is God's army. This is exactly what Billy Graham told me would happen. That I talked to people and they were like, I don't know. I just felt this calling to come here and help. And now I'm, doing this and this and this. And the people have taken care of it. Now, they need a lot of help. But wait until I tell you about FEMA. I found a FEMA truck. And we were driving from seeing some, bad areas. And I said, wait, turn the car around. I think I just saw a FEMA truck. And everybody's like, no. And I'm like, turn around. I saw a FEMA truck. It's behind that building. And all right. So they turn around. And there, lo and behold, is one FEMA truck with a giant satellite on the top of it. It was a communications truck. So we pull up. And a lot of them are sitting under a tree at a card table with folding chairs, all in their FEMA vests. And I looked at Congressman Corey Mills and I said, oh, brother, I don't think I can go talk to those people alone. And he said, come on, I'll go. So we went. We have it on tape. And Corey said afterwards, he's like, pretty early on, you just shut up. And he said, I could tell you just wanted to walk away. And I'm like, oh, I was doing everything I can just to not go ape on those people. So, I was listening to my mother. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.